Hello, my friends. Welcome. So happy to see you at the beginning of a week after some extraordinary things have been happening around our household. Um, for those of you who do not know, which may not be very many of you, Gay, my husband Gay, took a very bad fall last Wednesday and basically shattered his right femur. And so he's been in the Ventura Medical Center and been receiving really great care. So we're really just kind of taking it one day at a time. And he went from on the first day thinking, I'm going to just be out of here really quickly. It was like, I just kept breathing and going, okay, we're going to just open up to see what is needed here and what we're doing. So one of the things that I found really extraordinary is that all of the things that we're practicing um, made just a huge difference. So because my habit is to include people and in a loop of awareness and also to lead with appreciation. His nurse, he had this wonderful nurse, a Southern nurse, Wilma, who traveled all over the country during COVID. She's an ICU nurse and treated people. And so that was his nurse. And for the first couple of days, and she told her colleagues that we were the nicest couple she'd ever met. So in the middle of all of this, you can still, what I found is that I can still choose my attitude. I can choose, and I found that practicing the loop of awareness and love scoops was just extraordinarily helpful, and also wanted to appreciate all of you. He was really touched by this when something traumatic like this happened, it hits all of the old trauma, and he had really significant trauma just coming in. He basically was an inconvenience. And so the thing was amazing. He takes this huge fall and I'm running out the door to find out. And he's in excruciating pain. And the first thing he does is apologize. So it really gave me such a deep, because he's been healing this all his life. But when some really big thing happens, it echoes. And what it reminded me is that each of us have wounds that go way back. And then when something big happens in our day-to-day life, it can echo back. But what I was telling him, and that's one of the things I want to focus on today, is that his job that he's taught thousands of people to do is to receive. And so that's been, just to be, I just keep beaming at him and doing loop of awareness so that I'm including me. And the other thing that's been really interesting is that people bring their context to it, like, oh, this must be really difficult for you, or, oh, I know how hard this must be. And I'm going, excuse me. What it really brought home to me was that in the middle of whatever, I can still choose. And just that simple. So, what I want to just invite you to do is just give it attention to body sensations, because you're listening to me and then it's impacting you. You can notice that through your body sensations. So if you're giving attention to listening, and then you give attention to you, and then you give attention to what's around you, and then giving attention to you, that creates an actual noticeable field that people can join and can benefit from your presence and your ability to choose your state regardless of what's going on outside you. So I wanted to also appreciate our cats. they are masters of loop of awareness. And it was 24 hours before Gay could have surgery, and then, for all kinds of different reasons. And during that entire time, the girls, it looked like they were sleeping, but I knew they were not sleeping. They were purring and they were focused on him, and they were just down in there and intent. And the moment that he got out of surgery, and he had some vomiting after surgery, Allie went out into the hallway and vomited, and then she was just fine. And so they, the not just our human companions, but our animal companions are a part of all of the, the flow of aliveness and the flow of possibility. And so we're really just taking it, one day at a time. And, people saying things like, oh, this is going to change everything. And so it's really given me, it's just this opportunity to go, hello, I have, I'm here, I'm having my experience. How about giving some attention to what's going on over here? So it's a great opportunity for interrupting just the kinds of intentions, the kinds of responses, the kinds of automatic responses that people have, and being able to realize too what is absolutely most valuable, and that is the flow of love. And so I would love for you to open up to experiences, like an experience you've had recently, or maybe just way back in the past, where you felt so loved, and letting yourself really open up to letting that spread out through you. And then you can spread it around you so that you can scoop it up, and you can let that then be the way that you look at the world. And so what it created for me was looking for the opening. And I think just having practiced this for so long, and leading with appreciation, that things were easier than, like they should have been. And we got a great surgeon. His surgeon is a woman I haven't met yet, but and one of our very best friends, who is a physician, went down and was with Gay during that whole period of time where the surgery hadn't happened yet. And he was able to talk to the other physicians and look at the x-rays, and so do all the medical talk stuff and be able to advise Gay. So that enabled me to really relax, because I started a new course last Thursday, and that was when he was having his surgery. And so, at first I was gonna cancel that, and just by, again, opening up to just the practice that we've been doing, the loop of awareness and love scoops, all of these openings began to occur. And it was absolutely perfect to have Eddie there, and really not me, because Gay would have been distracted by wanting to make sure that I was all right. And so so it's really, it's we're looking at it as, well, this is the next adventure going on. And what it reminded me of is that that's true for all of us. It's just that we have these reminders from time to time that are like big kabonks, like, and I felt very, I wouldn't say I was proud of myself, but I got a sense of, oh, it's like I cashed in for years of practice, and it all came in. So for those of you who have been like I've been doing the loop of awareness, and what's going to happen from that? Well, my sense is that you really do create a new context that you walk around. It's like your own little bubble that other people can come and visit, and can be touched by. Because I noticed too that as I was moving around, that like in the hospital and stuff, that I could tell people were like, there's something going on, there's something different here. And because I haven't been in hospitals, since I broke my hip. So, it was also gave me a chance to see how, differently I can be now than I was then, and what I've learned. And so, so I thought, well, I can't do a normal loops and scoops today because it's not normal. And in a way, it is totally normal, because what I realized is, at the core, this practice creates something that you can really count on. And so that was really affirming to me. For all of you who've, many of you have been doing this practice with me. I'm looking at Kathy and Darlene for months, if not years, because we've been doing this since the COVID began. And so for me, it was such a confirmation of this simple practice is incredibly powerful. And so as we're talking today, and I I realize that underneath all of that, I'm still doing the practice. So the loop of awareness, and feeling into any places in me that are getting stuck in fear, or and but mostly, my response, because I'm so tied into game, my response was kind of faint. So I've been doing lots of love scoops, and I had a chance to get into the pool yesterday and do love scoops in the pool, which was also really lovely to feel that. And so the other thing I wanted to share with you is that Gay was, when he found out more about what's actually going on in his leg, he's doing fear melters from the inside, and he's keeping movement going. So he's doing little mini melters with his body, but he's also meeting his leg from the inside. So he's doing internal love scoops. So we think about love scoops as reaching out, but I want to invite you to let your love scoops reach in to any place that's, like I have, I've had difficulty with my knees over the last couple of years from COVID, and reaching in, like gathering love and reaching in and delivering it to my knees, or reaching in and bringing your consciousness to any place in you that's going, hey, me, hey, how about a little here? So I want to invite you to do that. So you can do it from the outside for sure, but also your intention and your any energy from the inside is also incredibly powerful. So let yourself, as we're, kind of winding up this part today, I'd like you to notice any place that has just sort of been carrying things for you. Like, it's been sort of your workhorse, and, I'm doing this because somebody has to, it could be your shoulders, it could be your mid back, it could be your feet or your ankles. And I'd like you to reach out and gather in love from the outside and give that to any place. I'm going to give some here to the area in me that, where I feel sadness and, some grief. And I can also reach from the inside. So I can let my consciousness, that flow of love, reach from the inside, so I can meet it in both directions. And to know that it may look like an activity, may look like an exercise, and your consciousness is very real and very powerful. And that the ongoing practice, even if you forget about it and then you do it again, you forget about, is, creates a context of love and presence, which is very palpable, and also draws connection that amplifies the experience of love and brings you all kinds of delightful surprises, like, people being like the EMTs here, arrived in about, I called the ambulance, arrived very, very quickly. They saw immediately that he thought that he, that he had just sprained something. They saw immediately he'd broken it, and they moved immediately to to assist him to feel like he was in, just incredible pain, to assist him, and worked very, very efficiently, got him out and down in, very short order. So I think it activates that sense of possibility in everybody. And so we can just start where we are, like what was wanting love and attention right now. And it'll also guide you to see what is wanting love and attention out here. And the other thing I found is there's plenty of love. I didn't run out. So people say, oh, you must feel so depleted. And I go, well, no, actually, I don't. It's like people, I think that people, that's a fear response. I think that people sort of flee into your experience rather than staying in their own, like, oh, you must be. And I go, well, no, actually. So it gives me a chance to claim again my own space, but also to claim the power of consciousness. And that's really the big thing. That's the big learning so far, but I'm prepared to have learnings from this every day. So I think I'm going to just see what Presence Connect Play has for us today. This is going to be interesting to see what comes up on the Presence Connect Play. This I always love. I find, I don't know if you've been using Presence Connect Play, but for me, it's always perfect. It's sort of like its own little Ouija board because it always comes up with the perfect thing. So here's Presence. Let your whole self turn toward what's happening. So yeah. So for you right now, what would it mean to let your whole self turn towards what's happening? And we've had that experience, dozens of times over the last, several days of turning toward what's happening. So that's for presence. And let's see, it went away again. Connect, listening appreciatively. So the connection, listening appreciatively, is a lot of what I was doing, because I couldn't, Gay was in a lot of medication that I was listening to his sensations. I was listening to his tone of voice. I was listening to his breath. I was listening to my response to him. And so appreciatively, what I think of is sensitive awareness. So I invite you to let in your listening this week really be grounded in that sensitive awareness, to like you're being next to somebody that you really love, and you're just taking in all of the different nuances of what's there. And that listening appreciatively is just incredibly opening and softening, so that a connection where love and nourishment can be shared can happen. Because when we're in fear, we keep ourselves, what I'm really getting is that we keep ourselves from receiving. We get tough, or we get frozen, or we get faint, but we don't receive. And so the loop of awareness particularly, but also appreciation, that sensitive awareness, really opens up a deeper connection. And then play, that says chunk, fewer words. And I got such a practice in that in the last few days, because literally just saying, would you like some water? Chunk, and then watching and listening, just the little bits of information. The most hilarious thing that has happened so far is that Gay, I brought down his different devices, and he wanted to get on his computer and and do some different things. And so on Friday, so he had his surgery on Thursday late afternoon. So on Friday, I'm down there, and he's on his computer, and I looked away, and I looked back, and he's fallen asleep with his head forward, and his fingers are still on the computer. And so, our imagining of, I'm going to get a lot of work done while I'm here in the hospital, all of that. So there have been, and the other thing that I just feel so grateful for is the flow of feeling. So, Gay's been crying and expressing. And I just think it's so valuable for everybody to let their feelings flow. And so I've really been appreciating that and really celebrating, because he, like me, because we didn't get parented, so we sort of toughed it out. We were our own parents, for a long time, and so letting himself be cared for, and I bring in socks for him, and I brought him deviled eggs yesterday. So the things that I know that he really loves that allow him to really receive more, that's what we've been focusing on. So I'm now going to go and make him coffee, because of course the coffee at the hospital is like, so so thank you so much for listening and being with all of this. I didn't want to just carry on as if nothing had happened, because this is, I think, what we're all here for. Because the other thing I'm so aware of, and we get this lesson every day, but there are times where we get it even bigger, that each day is precious, and each interaction with ourselves and others is really precious. So considering the preciousness of our connection, and so appreciating that we have this time together, and may it just spread out through the week and nourish you and nourish everybody that you're in contact with. And we'll let you know what's how it's going. So thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you so much. It was so deep and rich and beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We love you, Katie.
Yeah, thank you. Love you. Mwah.
Okay, hugs to you.